Ladies and gentlemen, wonderful people, this is Call of Duty fanatics. Welcome back to another Call of Duty report. Today's topic is one that's been brewing for a while, and it's a harsh reality we need to talk about. How streamers have completely destroyed Call of Duty. That's right, streamers who once seemed like they were helping grow the community have in many ways contributed to the downfall of one of the most iconic first-person shooter franchise. Now, before you start defending your favorite streamer, hear me out, guys. This isn't about blaming every single streamer out there, but about the bigger picture, the way they fundamentally changed how Call of Duty and other FPS games are played, marketed, and ultimately ruined for everyday casual gamer. First off, let's talk at how Call of Duty has changed over the years. Back in the day, Call of Duty was a game for absolutely everyone. You could hop into a lobby after work or school, have some fun with friends, and feel like you had a shot at winning, no matter your skill level, guys. The experience was balanced, and most of the time it was enjoyable for both hardcore and casual players. But then, the rise of streamers happened. Influencers like, for example, Swag, Nadia, and Aiden, for example, and others started streaming Call of Duty, and as they amassed huge followings, the way the game was played started to shift. Call of Duty went from being a game for everyone to being tailored more and more for the ultra-competitive crowd, people who wanted to drop 50 kills every game while the rest of us struggled to keep up. The issue is that streamers live and breathe these games, and they cheat as well. They spend hours every day perfecting their strategies, understanding every map, every mechanic, and every meta. And sure, that's fine for them, they're getting paid to play the game, but what about the rest of us? The casual players who just want to have fun. The game has become a sweat feast, where every match feels like a tournament, and that's a no accident. Developers are listening to streamers and tailoring the game to suit their needs, not ours, not the community needs. One of the biggest changes we've seen in Call of Duty, and a direct result of streamers' influence, is the implementation of strict skill-based matchmaking system, or notoriously known as SBMM. Now, SBMM in theory sounds great. You're supposed to be matched with players of similar skill, which should create more balanced games, right? But in reality, it's been a nightmare for casual players. Why? Because the SBMM system has been ramped up to cater to the competitive crowd, many of whom are streamers. Streamers push themselves to be at the top of the leaderboard every game, and because they're so vocal about it, developers listen. The end result? Everybody lobby feels like you're playing against pros, even if you're just trying to unwind and have some fun. It's no longer a game for everybody, it's a game where you need to be sweating and fully locked in, or else you're just going to be stomped all the time in your matches. Let's talk about the meta culture, a word you probably hear all the time from streamers. The meta is essentially the best weapons, attachments, and playstyles at any given moment. Streamers spend their time figuring out the meta, and once they find it, everyone follows. That means instead of having variety in the game, where different guns and strategies are viable, you get everyone running the same loadouts, using the same guns, and employing absolutely same tactics. And it's all because streamers need to optimize their performance for views, for clicks, for money, essentially. It creates a cookie-cutter environment where creativity and experimentation are completely discouraged. You can no longer pick a gun because you like it or because it fits your playstyle. If you're not using the current meta, you're at a massive disadvantage. Call of Duty, once known for its diversity in gameplay, has become stale and one-dimensional thanks to streamers dictating how the game should be played. It's also important to talk about how game developers are catering to streamers more than the community itself. When was the last time you saw a major update or patch that benefited the casual players? Most of the time it's about tweaking the game based on feedback from top streamers or pro players. Developers now focus on promoting events and content that are aimed at driving viewership on platforms like Twitch and YouTube. We see in-game skins, special events, and updates being timed to align with major streamer announcements or tournaments. This is all builds into the cycle of streamers becoming more influential while the average players feels completely left out of the equation. The focus is no longer on building a game that's fun for the community, but it's rather about catering to the top 1% who stream for a living. And this is the big part, guys. Streamers have also contributed to the rise of cheating and exploits in game like Call of Duty. When a streamer discovers an exploit or a broken weapon, it doesn't take long for their entire fan base to start using it. And because streamers want to be the first to showcase these tactics, they spread like wildfire. What's worse is that when streamers abuse these mechanics, it normalizes them. It's no longer seen as cheating or exploiting the game, it's seen as just another part of the meta. This mentality seeps into the casual player base, and soon enough, everyone is using broken mechanics to get ahead. It creates an environment where fair play is thrown out of the window, and it's all about who can abuse the system the most effectively. And I'll just remind you guys about the Movement Kings. It was just a matter of time when the people and so-called Movement Kings are going to break the movement of the Black Ops 6. And they already did. Like, you can stumble upon a people who are absolutely impossible to kill. No matter how good you are, legit you are, no matter how many hours you have spent playing this game, they just abuse the mechanics in order to get an edge. Another huge problem is the burnout this creates among the player base. Games like Call of Duty have always been about the fun, hopping on with your friends and just having a good time. But streamers have turned it into a job grind. They play 10 to 12 hours a day in and day out, and they expect the same level of commitment from their audience. This leads to casual players feeling left behind or completely irrelevant. You can't keep up with the streamers, so why bother? For many players, Call of Duty was a game you could pick up and play casually without having to be the best in the world. But with streamers constantly pushing the narrative that you have to be sweating every game, that experience has been all but destroyed. Finally, let's talk about the content itself. Streamers have had a huge influence on what kind of content is produced and how it's delivered. And it's not good. Events, cosmetics, and updates are now designed with streamers in mind, not the everyday player. We see developers pumping out flashy skins and limited time events that are perfect for streamers to showcase on their channels, but they do little to improve the core gameplay experience. It's all about the spectacle, the views, and the monetization. The focus has shifted from creating well-rounded, full game to creating moments that streamers can turn into content. And that's had a direct impact on the quality of the game. At the end of the day, streamers have taken away the fun that made Call of Duty special in the first place. They've turned it into a high-stakes, ultra-competitive grind that caters to the elite few while leaving the rest of us frustrated and exhausted. From the rise of the SBMM to the toxic meta, from broken exploits to a content cycle designed for clicks instead of fun, streamers have done irreparable damage to the franchise. If Call of Duty wants to survive as a franchise, they need to refocus on the casual players who built the community in the first place. The game needs to be fun again, not just an avenue for streamers to pad their status and bank accounts. Because if things keep going the way they are, we are going to see more players quitting than ever before. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think streamers have ruined Call of Duty, or is it something else? Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos about Call of Duty. And until next time, my fellow Verdansk citizens, I wish you all the best and stay frosty.